Disclaimer. The information provided in this video is for general information and educational purposes only. Students should test cybersecurity techniques in the secured lab setup. I do not take any responsibility, and I am not liable for any damage or problem caused while implementing the tools and technique.
So far, we've seen how to make our backdoors or Trojans look and function like a file that the target person trusts, like an image or a PDF or any other file type. We did this using our download and run payload, and we configured that payload to download two files, to download our backdoor and to download an image or the PDF that the person sees. Then it executes the file that the person sees, and it executes our backdoor in the background. So the end product was an executable that functions like a normal image or a normal PDF. We then had to change the icon of that file to reflect the type of the file that we are trying to spoof, and we had to spoof the file extension or the file name. Again, we did not change the file name, we just made it look like it's the file name that the target person is expecting. In this video, I'd like to show you a way of embedding the backdoor itself in a file that the person trusts. So we are not going to be using an executable, we're going to be embedding the nasty code inside a normal file, and we're going to get that nasty code to be executed inside that file. And to do that, we're going to rely on a feature that's available in Microsoft Office. So Microsoft Office allows you to run executable VBA code inside their documents, whether it's a Word document, whether it's PowerPoint or Excel document. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that feature to put some nasty code in there, and then when the person runs this normal document, our nasty code will be executed with that document. So the file will not be executable, we won't have to change the extension or the icon of the file. It's going to be a valid Microsoft Office file that has nasty code inside it, and when the target person runs this file, our nasty code will run in the background as well. Now, Empire made this easy for us as it can generate macros, which are made of the code that we can embed inside Microsoft Office documents. And we can generate macros the same way that we are generating the bad backdoors. So all you have to do is use a stager. And if we scroll up, you will see that the one that I always used was Windows Launcher Bat. And what we want to use this time is Windows Macro. So I'm just going to hit enter. And the most important thing that we want to change is the listener right here. So you want to set that to the name of your listener, and I created a listener called HTTP. So I'm going to set my listener HTTP. And then I'm going to set the location where my macro is going to be stored, and I'm going to store it in my nasty files, even though this is not going to be a nasty file. We will start it there so we can access it on the Windows machine. So I'm going to set out file to var www html nasty code nasty files, and I'm going to call it http 8080 macro. If I do options again, you'll see our settings has configured correctly, and now I'm going to do execute to generate my macro. Now you can see it's telling us that the stager is already stored, and I'm going to copy it to my web server. Now let's go to the Windows machine, and I'm going to go to where my nasty files, and there are 192.168.134.128 nasty files, and we can see our macro here. So if we click that, you will see we have the code that we can embed in Microsoft Office. So this is not a launcher. We cannot just double click this to get our reverse shell. We have to copy this and then embed it inside the Microsoft Office document. Now I'm going to show you how to use it with Microsoft Word, but you can use it with other Microsoft Office products like Excel or PowerPoint. So I'm going to copy everything, and then I'm going to open my Microsoft Word. And I'm going to create a blank document. And here you want to type a message. You can have a normal content to make the target person trust this document, and you can also just type a message telling the person to please enable macros to see the full content. You can even have an image to demonstrate how to enable that. For now, I'm just going to have a simple message saying please enable macros to see the full document. Now to embed the nasty code, I'm going to go to View and click on this little arrow for the macros. I'm going to click on View Macros. Then I'm going to go and select the macros in document 1, which is the document that I'm using at the moment. I'm going to click on Create to create a new macro. Then I'm going to highlight everything, delete it, and paste the code that I just copied from the macro that we created with Empire. So that's all done. We don't have to even look at this code and know what it does, but this is our nasty code encoded in base64, and you can see here we have the PowerShell command that will execute the code that follows that. So I'm going to save this. And I'm going to store it in my downloads anyway, because that's where we are looking at the moment. And let's just call it Empire Macro Backdoor. Now you want to also to set the save as type to Word 97 2003. If you keep it at docs, it won't work. So make sure you set it to Word 97 2003. Save that. And that's it. We're good to go. Now you are going to have to deliver this depending on your target person, depending on the information that you gathered on the target person. Once the target person gets the file, they will see it right here. You can see that it looks exactly like a Word document because it is a Word document. So it has a Word document icon, it has a Word document extension, so it's not an executable. Even if you go on the properties, you will see that it's a normal document. It's a normal document that's going to be opened by Microsoft Office. So it's not suspicious at all, but then when you double click this, you'll see that warning right here telling you that you have to enable the content for the full file. And we included the message saying please enable macros to see the full document. So if the target person enables this content, this will execute our nasty code. And if we come here to our Kali machine, you will see that we got an agent trying to connect back to us. So if we go to agents, You can see that we have a connection and we can interact with it and do sysinfo to confirm. I forgot to interrupt. And do sysinfo. I'm sorry, it's not sysinfo, it's info only. And as you can see, we managed to gain full control over the Windows machine. I'm inside it now. I can do whatever I want, and we managed to do this using a normal Microsoft document that looks and functions just like any other Microsoft Office document. And again, you can do this method not only with Word, but you can do it with other products by Microsoft Office such as Excel and PowerPoint. I hope you learned something once again in today's tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and enable notifications to keep you updated on the latest ethical hacking topics. Thanks again for watching. Let us move on to the next episode. Peace.